Hey guys. So this is a gaming misconceptions stream. And one of the biggest gaming misconceptions that I've ever heard is the pronunciation of the game that I am about to show you. What game is that, Matt? Well, if you looked at the video title, then you'd probably already have an idea, but still, let's let's see what we can do here to surprise everybody. Ah. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, how would you pronounce this? Oh, well, they fucking. Oh, great. Okay. How would you pronounce this? The red part. Metal Gear Solid what? Metal Gear Solid what? Now, many people would call it Metal Gear Solid 5. They would be incorrect. Because there are 6 Metal Gear Solid games. All right. Even if Metal Gear Solid 5 is actually super effing woke. Like what probably I started playing it and then stopped playing it because of how incredibly woke it was. It was just kind of irritating. But look, right over here, this is Metal Gear Solid 5. It's called Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. It came out after Metal Gear Solid 4. It did not have a number in the title. However, look, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. Are they using Roman numerals or are they using digits? Well, I think you can see that they're using digits. Now, you may have to take my word for it on this one, or, well, am I going to go fucking get Metal Gear Solid 4? Okay, I'll show you. Hold on. Okay. So there's another game in the Metal Gear Solid series. And in the Metal Gear series, but the Metal Gear series could then include Metal Gear Acid and all the other wild stuff. I would say the traditional Metal Gear series would be Metal Gear 1 and 2, and then all the Metal Gear Solids that are numbered or intended to be numbered. So, or seemingly. So this one is Metal Gear Solid 4, right? It also has a digit that may look sort of like a delta or whatever, but that is a digit. It's a 4. It's not a Roman numeral, otherwise it would be IV. Okay, so that's pretty clear. It's Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, what was supposed to be the next big Metal Gear Solid game? Well, apparently, Peace Walker was intended to be actually like the next game. I think they want to release it on a console. I don't know, but in any case, there was something about it where it was like, yeah, this is a main game, and it's the one main game I still haven't beaten. However, then suddenly you have a game that's called Metal Gear Solid with what people take to be a Roman numeral for 5, except two things. One, we already have a Metal Gear Solid 5 because it's actually a Metal Gear Solid game, a main game in the series. Okay. So if Hideo Kojima considered it a main game, then even though it's just called Peace Walker, well, guess what? Maybe it's actually the fifth main game because it came after Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay. Now, here we go. What comes after 5? What comes after 4? 5. Okay, that would be Peace Walker if it is a main game. Maybe. Hideo. Okay. Now, what comes after 5? 6. However, it says Metal Gear Solid V. Now, why might that make sense? Why? Well, Matt, Roman numeral, whatever. Maybe they just used one. It's weird that they change it, maybe, but whatever. That's what it is, right? It might not be. You know why? Because Metal Gear Solid V, and now we will get into Metal Gear Solid spoilers for V. So please, if you haven't played the game and like you think you're going to, I was able to avoid the spoiler, and when I found out, I had a shocking experience, and this was like last year. So you may have avoided the spoiler, but it's a big spoiler. So if you want to continue to not have the game corrupted for you in terms of what's going to happen, maybe stop. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Spoilers. Metal Gear Solid 5 is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, I would say, and then Hideo might say, and then Metal Gear Solid 6 is Metal Gear Solid V. Not Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Solid V. Well, first of all, who's this? Who's this? Some might say this is Big Boss. It might be Big Boss. And maybe this guy is not Big Boss because, in any case, the main character you find, the character that you're playing as for most of the game anyway, if not all of it, he's not Snake. He's not Big Boss. He's V. He is a doctor from the fucking helicopter, and somehow they got him to look like Snake, and then also somehow they got him to think he was Snake. And so he's not Big Boss. He's not Naked Snake. He's not Big Boss. He's not Snake. He's not John. He's V. He's V. Okay. And so this is, and I repeat it again, Metal Gear Solid V. And here's the thing, it's actually a perfect title, especially for a Metal Gear Solid game. It's probably my favorite title just by default because it's literally a title masquerading as something else. So if you're not really paying attention, you might see that and say Metal Gear Solid 5, and you might see that and think, well, this is just Metal Gear Solid 5. You might not notice that the Roman numeral wouldn't have been the way that they do it. And you might think the V is a 5. However, if you play the game, then you might put together and you might have a revelation that's no, it's not 5, it's 6 and it's V. And so the game's title is sort of like an interloper, or actually, the game's title is sort of like kind of a deceptive stand in, similar to how the game's main character, V,